In a dim studio, a painter mixes raw vermilion pigment into oil, watching as the dull powder transforms into vibrant red on canvas. With each swirl of the brush, red seems to come alive more than matter, more than pigment. What is this spark that makes a color more than the sum of its parts? The painter steps back, eyes narrowing. Is red confined to this blossom and that sunset, or does it exist beyond these forms? Is it merely the interplay of light and matter, or does redness float in an unseen realm, waiting for each rose and fire truck to partake? Philosophers offer three paths. Platonism claims a perfect form of red beyond space and time. Nominalism insists red is just a convenient name we stick on similar things. Conceptualism locates universals in our minds as shared concepts. Tonight, we'll walk each road painting, naming, and conceiving to see where red truly resides. Imagine prisoners chained in a cavern, see only flickering shadows on the wall. That's Plato's cave. The shadows are red apples, red flames, red robes, mere reflections. Beyond the firelight lies the true form of red, perfect and unchanging. Only those who break their bonds can glimpse this radiant essence. This perfect red isn't mixed from pigment or born of perception. It exists in a higher realm. Every rose, sunset, or warning sign only partakes in that ideal. The form is the source. Particulars are its imperfect copies. True knowledge, Plato says, comes from contemplating the form, not chasing its many echoes. How do red roses and red apples share in the form? Plato imagines a mystical participation. Each particular reflects the form's light, drawing its hue from that primal circle. Like ripples from a stone, particulars echo perfection, but cannot attain its full brilliance. Plato's student Plotinus envisioned the soul climbing from the shadows toward the light of forms. In that ascent, the mind sheds its attachments to particulars and beholds pure reality. Only then does red cease to be a mere color and become a doorway to the eternal. But critics ask, if forms exist in another realm, how do they interact with our world? A perfect red circle floating in emptiness seems insubstantial. No texture, no weight. It grounds the vivid reds we see. Is this ideal realm too remote to explain the paint on a canvas? In the Middle Ages, thinkers like Augustine and Pseudo-Dionysius wove Plato's forms into theology, seeing virtue and beauty as aspects of the divine. The perfect form of red became a reflection of God's light. Artisans painted icons not just to show color, but to hint at heavenly reality beyond sight. Centuries later, philosophers like Plato's modern errors, George Moore and David Armstrong, argued properties like redness are as real as tables and chairs. They speak of universals embedded in objects themselves. Science, they claim, discovers these real patterns, not mere names. Yet even realists face puzzles. If the form of red itself is red, does there exist a higher form of redness that colors the first? The threat of infinite regress looms. Forms of forms, ever ascending, never landing, a tower of abstraction with no ground. Even Plato admitted limits. The world of forms is intelligible, not perceptible. We grasp it only by reason, not by the senses. Thus, the red we see remains a pale messenger, whispering of a splendor our eyes cannot touch, the gap between knowing and seeing. Perhaps there's no need for lofty realms or endless towers of forms. Maybe red is just a word we use to group similar experiences, no perfect circle required. William of Occam's razor whispers, "Don't multiply entities beyond necessity." And so, a new path emerges, nominalism, where universals vanish into names. Medieval scholar William of Occam urged simplicity. Don't postulate entities you don't need. If we can explain red by pointing to red things and using the word red, why invoke a perfect form? For nominalists, universals are mere names, handy labels we pin on families of particulars. Red becomes a term we attach whenever we detect similar wavelengths on our retinas. There's no shared essence, just our linguistic convention. We speak of redness as if it's a thing, but nominalism reminds us it's a shorthand, a social contract etched in words. But if red is just a word, how do painters, physicists, and children all agree on its meaning? Nominalists reply, through shared human practices, education, culture, biology. Our minds learn to categorize the world similarly, forging consensus without invoking mystical forms. Peter Abelard introduced a precursor to conceptualism, suggesting universals exist as concepts in the mind, not hidden in things. He built a bridge. Names point to mental constructs, allowing us to communicate about red without positing external entities. Words meet ideas in our heads. Yet nominalism struggles with mathematics and moral values. Do numbers or justice exist merely as names? If universals are just terms, why do we treat them as true in science and ethics? A debate presses on. Names may organize thought, but do they capture reality? Conceptualism holds that universals aren't out in the world, they're floating in another realm. They exist as concepts in our minds. The word red names a mental construct we form by noting similarities among particulars. Redness becomes a shared idea, not a thing or a mere label, but a cognitive tool. Aristotle proposed an active intellect that draws universals from particulars, like a sculptor carving form from marble. Our minds abstract red by observing countless red objects, distilling their common features into a concept that guides perception and action. Immanuel Kant argued our minds impose categories like color, cause, and space onto raw sensory data. Red isn't discovered or invented, it's a lens through which we inevitably perceive. Conceptualism thus sees universals as preconditions of thought, shaping experience from the inside out. Because minds share similar cognitive structures, biological and cultural, our concepts overlap. That's why we agree on red, despite varied experiences. Conceptualism bridges nominalism's names and Platonism's forms. Universals exist in thought, yet gain intersubjective reality through shared mental frameworks. Yet conceptualism faces its own puzzles. Does the concept of red persist if no mind thinks it? And can mental constructs ground objective truths like moral values or mathematical laws? The debate continues. Are universals mind-made, yet capable of transcending individual thought? Every day, you stop at red lights without pondering universals. But consider, a Platonist sees each light as an imperfect instance of a timeless red. A nominalist knows only the word red signals stop. A conceptualist feels the mind's category trigger action. These theories lie hidden in routine choices. When you argue politics or law, you invoke universals beyond color, justice, fairness, rights. A Platonist defends a perfect justice beyond culture. A nominalist sees justice as a convenient term. A conceptualist focuses on shared understanding. Our political battles echo metaphysical disputes. Scientists hunt properties like mass or charge as if they're real entities, echoing Platonism. Nominalists warn against reifying constructs. Conceptualists remind us our instruments shape what we observe. Even in labs, universals theory guides our search for truth. AI vision systems sort images into categories, another front in the universals debate. Do we program them with labels only, or embed patterns like forms? Or train neural nets to form their own concepts? Our eye ethics hinge on how we treat universals in code. When nominalists caution, beware reifying abstractions, they warn against mistaking words for reality. Are we worshiping our own maps? Whether in law, science, or art, keep universals as tools, not tyrants. We began with a painter and ended with philosophers, but this isn't mere abstraction. Whether you see universals as timeless forms, handy labels, or mind-made concepts, these views shape how you understand everything from color to justice. Take a moment. How do you experience the red of your own life? Perspective matters. A Platonist gains a sense of permanence, a realm beyond change. A nominalist finds freedom in choice of labels, crafting meaning in language. A conceptualist feels the creative power of the mind to shape reality. Your stance on universals isn't just theoretical, it's a lens on the world. No single theory captures every nuance. Perhaps universals are too vast for one answer. Embrace humility, hold your view lightly, stay curious, and welcome questions. In the space where certainty fades, wonder takes root. Your thoughts matter. Comment below. Do you lean toward Platonism's perfection, nominalism's simplicity, or conceptualism's mental creativity? Share an example, maybe a color, a moral ideal, or a number where your theory shines. Let's build understanding together. This exploration of universals closes, but your journey is just beginning. Next, we'll probe the nature of consciousness, another mystery, where the particular meets the universal. Subscribe and join us as we continue to illuminate the unseen threads that bind reality together. Imagine crossing the street at a red pedestrian light. That stopping power of red holds your life in a moment. Platonists see the perfect form commanding obedience. Nominalists see a rule learned by name. Conceptualists see a mental trigger. In everyday danger and safety, universals shape your fate. When storms arrive, we name them Hurricane Red or Storm Emma. That naming gives us power to warn and prepare. Nominalism reminds us that labels drive action. Without the name, the force remains nameless fury. Universals aren't abstract, they can save lives. Chemists isolate properties, acidity, magnetism, color, to build materials. They treat these universals as real ingredients. Conceptualists add that the mind's frameworks guide experiments. Platonists believe they uncover eternal truths. Nominalists caution against reifying models into reality. In moral discourse, we speak of justice, courage, compassion. Are these ideals perfect forms to emulate, mere labels we adopt, or shared concepts we cultivate? Your stance on universals shapes how you fight injustice, champion causes, and forgive failures. Machine learning sorts images into categories: cats, cars, red objects, yet misclassifications occur. If universals are only names or mental models, I may never truly understand what makes something red. The debate over universals is a frontier in AI ethics and design. Artists invent new colors: magenta, chartreuse, and language catches up. Conceptualists celebrate this creative power. Nominalists see fresh labels. Platonists might view them as imperfect echoes of undiscovered forms. Universals breathe and expand with imagination. When ideology claims absolute forms, pure virtue, or infallible truth, it risks tyranny. Nominalism warns us, don't idolize abstractions. Conceptualists remind us to revisit assumptions. Realists caution that denying any universals leaves us adrift. Balance humility with conviction. You now hold three lenses: forms, names, concepts, to view the world. Choose one, switch between them, or weave all three. The power of universals lies not in dogma, but in the freedom to see reality from multiple angles. Tomorrow, notice a red traffic sign, a red dress, a red warning. Feel how your theory of universals guides your reaction: comfort, caution, or curiosity. By carrying these insights, you transform ordinary perception into philosophical practice. Which universals have shaped you? Comment below. Maybe a color that moved you, a moral ideal you lived by, or a number that guided your choices. Your stories become living testimony to the power and mystery of universals. We painted red, chased perfect forms, wielded names, and unlocked mental concepts. Platonism, Nominalism, Conceptualism, three roads to the same phenomenon. Each offers paths of wonder, caution, and creativity. Let their dialogue enrich your worldview. Our exploration of universals ends here, but the journey of ideas goes on. If this sparked your curiosity, subscribe and ring the bell. More metaphysical mysteries await, from the nature of consciousness to the essence of reality itself. Hold a red object in your hand, feel its weight, see its hue, name it in your mind. In that single act, you unite matter, language, and thought. Universals aren't distant, they live in your fingertips. Ludwig Wittgenstein reminded us, meaning is use. Universals gain life through practice in art, speech, thought. Use your concepts deliberately, name judiciously, and envision forms reverently. No model holds the final word. Universals remain a wondrous puzzle at the heart of reality. Approach them with humility, curiosity, and respect, for in every theory lies both insight and mystery. Next time, we turn to the deepest mystery of all. What is consciousness? How does awareness arise from matter? Join us under the metaphysical microscope. Thank you for walking this path through pigment, words, and ideas. May your future encounters with universals be richer, your questions deeper, and your sense of wonder unending. Until next time, stay curious.